What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today, Happy Chaos. So if you have the season pass, you should have him now. He came out last night in the middle of the night, basically. If you don't have the season pass, you're gonna have to wait until, I don't know, December 3rd, something. You gotta wait a while. So I want to follow up the starter guide with a little bit more about him. I've been messing around with him when he dropped at like 3 a.m. Eastern time, and some more when I woke up. So I'm going to share some things that I found and go over his normals and his specials a little bit more in depth. So Happy Chaos. So this character is quite unique. So actually more unique than I thought from watching this starter guide after getting my hands on him. So the first thing you got to actually get used to is that he doesn't have an H button. Most characters in this game have punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and then dust. So either this overhead or this low. But for Happy Chaos, the H button is just an instant ready of the gun, and there is no hitbox on this in any way. So 5H, 2H or his crouching H, and jump heavy, all are just bring out the gun. But he has other buttons as normal, so he's got P, K, S, and D. He just does not have H. The H is just linked to the bullets and the concentration meter. This meter is core to his game plan. The bullets have a significant amount of block stun, and they're attached to that meter. Each time he fires, he uses a good chunk of it, and just being in the stance slowly drains it. By pressing 2H, you put the gun away and you refill your meter. So with that stuff out the way, let's look at his normals. So his punches are pretty straightforward. His 5P, the main thing you have to worry about is that it doesn't hit crouchers. And it doesn't hit crouchers even if you put them in block stun, because generally characters are bigger blocking than when they're just sitting there. His 2Ps are pretty standard 2P. It's kind of big, I feel like, compared to other characters, and both of them are mids. So then we have his kick. So 2K, again, pretty standard move. This move is really big. Like, this move looks like bigger than Milia's. This move is like really big. So if I got spacing here of Kyle, okay, and then his connects, he has a really big 2K. Also, for people who play characters who sometimes they can't get 2K 2D all the time, so Ino had this problem for a while, for example, his reliably connects at max range, which is very nice. His 5K is also pretty standard for this game. He sticks out his leg. And a lot of moves like this, they don't really have hurt boxes under the leg that is extended, if that makes sense. So here, I can just, this will keep on whiffing. If I press another button at the same time, he's hitting me. So here I'm doing 2K, hitting me 100%. Here I'm doing 5K. I'm either going to beat him or make the move whiff. So if you're a Ram player or a Milia player, you're already familiar with this kind of concept, but if you don't play those characters, you might not see this type of interaction that much. So then quickly slashes. So his far slash is some shit. This move is really big, and quite frankly, I'm relatively sure this move is disjointed. This move is really nutty. Now the main downside, not really a downside, like you don't really have a Gatling off this because you don't have 2S and you don't have an H button. So the main thing you do off this is either special moves or fire the gun. Anyway, let's look at 2S. So 2S, equally huge move. So this move also hits at round start 2S, and it's a little swipe of the gun. It's also a low. It reaches really far, and his body's low to the ground. Again, similarly to far slash, he doesn't really have Gatling options. Everyone has the same Gatlings. No one has like far slash sweep or anything like that. So neither is he. You have to go into a special move or fire. He does have a sweep though. So his sweep, pretty standard. It's reminiscent of Leo's. Animation looks tricky, but it feels less safe than Leo's. And the main way is this. So Leo, this is like a 5-frame 2P, I think. So Leo would be punished by that, but see, that's a 7-frame move, and he still got punished. So he's got 3. So he's got 6K, 6P, and 6S. So let's look at each one. So 6K, again, pretty big move. Again, reaches from round start, but it's not like fast feeling. Like most 6Ks, it has special cancel options, but uniquely, he can follow up with H because H is not really a move. 6P is your typical 6P. It doesn't have a lot of range. This is your default Guilty Gear anti-air. And then there's 6S. The last time I saw a character with a move like this, I think it's Fate Unlimited Codes, Luvia Gilletta. So, and this move was really good for her. So I already really like this move. It's a lunging type of haymaker. All things considered, this move seems pretty fast. And as usual, you could use fire with it. Now, as far as air normals, most of his air normals are pretty straightforward. He's got a jump P that hits really horizontally, a jump kick that's kind of stanky leg smash energy. He's got this jump S, which he fires a gun but doesn't use a bullet. So he uses the other gun. So see how he's got both? So he uses his other gun and doesn't use bullets for this one. Jump H, as I mentioned before, sets up fire. And then jump D, so he stole this move from like Bang Shishigami or KOF players. I think this is called the taco kick. As far as I know so far, this is basically just used for mix-ups. It's a great, nice, lazy little cross-up that you can do whenever you want. But as far as same side, it doesn't really do anything. And then finally, there's this J2K. So this move hits overhead, and he kind of bounces off on some Chun-Li energy. And he follows the momentum that he's going, and you can follow up with buttons. Okay, so with all of those out the way, let's talk about fire, his H button, because there's a lot to go over with this. It's a really, really crucial part of his game plan. So when you press the H button, a cursor will appear like this, and then it will zoom in on the opponent and kind of like lock onto them. It'll look like that. So once you're locked onto them, you basically can fire and it's going to track them. Now, the opponent can kind of like outrun it pretty easily. Now, if you catch them during this time, the cursor will go on it like instantly. So don't worry so much about like trying to zone a running opponent, and worry more about connecting because the cursor will go onto them right away. This move is also essentially instant. And you don't even have to like press it separately like a Gatling. So a normal character, you would do like close slash 5H like that. So with him, you could do that, but then it'll take a little time to get the gun to connect. So for example, you could do close slash NH at the same time, which will give you a faster fire if you want. To cancel this stance, you press 2H. It basically has, again, no recovery. Now he has another way of actually going into the stance, which is 236S. So this has a hitbox before it, and you can fire pretty quickly actually. The main thing about this is that it pops up in combos. So you'll get a unique situation here, as opposed to just doing... See how it's like kind of awkward to do that? Yeah, you can get it to combo, but this is a little bit more straightforward. So he has another stance, which is this. This is the steady aim. So this uses a lot of concentration meter, but he's much better at keeping his aim compared to the normal. It has a drastic shot that he makes, but again, he uses a lot of concentration meter. Another thing about this move too is that it's a guard crush. So normally it doesn't really matter that much, but like many characters who have this, he becomes extremely advantage on PRC. So next would be roll here. So he has a, they call it extremely low profile. So this goes under a lot of stuff and it goes through the opponent. Simple example. Just like that. Now, there's a couple of things about it. We have to find out, like, where is it low profile? Because when I was messing around with it, this happens sometimes. So, it might not be as good as Milia's Mirage. Maybe. Maybe it's good that it has this weakness because you can use it in combination with fire. Now, the normal one, he actually loses accuracy while he's doing it. So, while you get to go through them, you don't get, like, a really fast cross-up. His accuracy is like not very good. You have to wait a little bit so they have time to react. But definitely the main benefit is that he can protect himself during this. Then we have reload. So this is just to reload his bullets. He does it automatically. It doesn't feel like you can control how many he puts in. So if you like empty the clip and you want to reload, he just refills right away. So next we have this move. This is the curse. So no hurt box, doesn't do any damage, but he gets a much faster fire compared to normal. So notice how my cursor is kind of struggling to keep up. If I curse him first, it does a much better job of keeping up with the opponent. Against slow characters, it might be like kind of struggle bus for them in this case. So focus is 2 and 4P. This gives you meter back. He's somewhat vulnerable during this. You can't like move or anything during that. And he puts away the gun, so you can't protect yourself with a bullet. But you've got another move to help you, which is a scapegoat move. So Mans takes a selfie and jumps backwards. This move is pretty good. I think it's reminiscent of like a Sub-Zero ice clone. So what you can do, this move, it just takes a hit and they can't run through it at all or move it. They have to do something to clear the move straight up. but it's treated as a character, a thing on the screen, so they can special cancel. Now for supers as described, we have two. So he has this super, which is a tracking super that fires a bunch of bullets. This super also reloads your bullets, and if you aren't already in the gun stance, it puts you in it automatically. Now the main thing is that you need focus meter to do it, as opposed to his other super, which instantly refills your focus meter. On top of that, he gets the normal buff that focus does, which increases the recovery rate of the focus meter. So this move is essentially an install super. These are pretty common in Arxis games, so it's just like freeze in, right? When you use this with certain moves, they become plus. So how he's gonna play is kind of interesting. So I feel like he's not totally a zoner, but he is threatening space all the time because he has this. While you can move around it, when he tags you, it focuses on you automatically. So he has a lot of opportunity to convert neutral situations into offense. Another thing about him too is that a lot of his stuff seems to have like pretty bad frame data. So for example, like this, you can see it, like he has a lot of recovery. When you combine it with the gun, all of a sudden it's party time. A unique thing about him too is that since this isn't really like a special move or cancel, he can even do it after dust and make his dust plus basically whenever he wants. So I'm really looking forward to what people are going to do with him. I only had my hands on him for a couple hours total. So this is just an overview of his moves and special moves and just like a couple thoughts I had on the character. Later this week, I will try to make a combo guide once I get some matches with him. One thing about when new characters drop is that people rush to make combos but not have situations for them. So I don't want to do that to you guys. I want you to have combos that you can actually use and when to use them. So hopefully I'll have that by the end of the week. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.